Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome to Cash Talks Football. Well, I'm breaking down all the goals scored today in the Champions League of Paris saint-germain against Newcastle United. I use my over 20 plus years of coaching experience to break down goals and give you some technical insight into stuff that you might not see. Sometimes you probably will, and hopefully it'll make you be a better coach or a better player, or maybe you can just be smarter down the pub. Right now we're looking at Paris saint-germain against Newcastle. We're first going to cover the Newcastle goal before we get into the controversial VAR decision of Paris Saint-Germain, but we'll get there. Let's start off with this first goal. This is quite an interesting thing to actually look, and you can actually, if you're looking at PSG's shape, they're actually quite terrible the way that they're doing everything, and it's pretty obvious. They're not one for keeping their team shape, if that makes sense. They're never really that disciplined of a team. Look, you just watch them right here. There's big gaps, and there's no real clear sort of attempt to get back into shape. It's just like, we're better than them, we're more talented, and that's the league that they play in. Genuinely, that's why they've never really performed properly well in the Champions League, just because they don't really have to play. They're not held accountable every week, if that makes sense. They have to play properly every week. Well, they just don't. And you can see it from right here. Watch this. So, as this guy picks up the ball and he starts running through, you can see this vagueness of a bit of a shape sort of forming here, but not really. It's too sort of disjointed. But what it does open up is this massive pocket for him to just walk through. Watch, he just starts walking through it. The defenders aren't the midfielders aren't really set or goal side of the ball, so they can't really make a challenge. Now the defence has got a good solid line. Okay, great. Now they're finally back set. But the midfield weren't. They're just not bothered. They're just like, well, we don't really need to worry about you, mate. And off you go. And as he sort of starts going through, you can see no one is really in a position to make a challenge because no one's actually goal side. And the reason why none of them are goal side, because none of them are in their shape. Look, right now, these guys need to be getting back and basically almost becoming defenders, but they're not. They're just kind of stood watching as this guy goes on a bit of a mazy run. And the other thing I want you to notice as this is going on is everyone is scared to put in a tackle. No one tries to tackle the guy because he's near the box. Absolutely no one, because of the looming threat of VAR at any possible moment and all this nonsense. Look, just no one is thinking about tackling the guy. Bump, another thing, no, bump, not really. If you go back just that little second, this guy tries to put in a foot. This midfielder tries to put in a foot, but of course he can't tackle him because he's on the wrong side of him. He's not goal side. He didn't make that effort when he beat his mate here just to get goal side. Didn't bother. So look, he puts in this little half effort here, blop, and off we go. But this is what I want you to now focus on. Now we've got the ball moving over here. We've got a bit of an overload over here. It's not really that important. But watch all of these players. That player there, my brilliant arrow, went straight to him. Watch all the players and how they focus on what's going on the ball. Because they don't get held accountable really that often, you can see that they're not really that disciplined of trying to do the right things. Look at this guy here. Every single person right now is focused on that ball. No one. So think of this. When you're coaching, you always say to your players, look at the ball, look at the player, look at the player, look at the ball, look at the ball, look at the player, whichever way you want to say it around. But you need to have your head on the swivel constantly. Where's the ball? Okay, great. What's in behind me? What's going on behind me? Look, this wee man here, Dembele, he's off. He couldn't care less what's going on. There's a man here to be marked. He just doesn't. He's, doesn't bother. Off we start going, and then everything starts to break down. Do you see no one's head has turned? All you see is the backs of their heads. No one has turned to look and see this runner coming in here. And this is why it's important. As he pulls the trigger, bump, he's the one that reacts and taps it into the goal. None of them are even aware that he was making a run. Not one single defender, one midfielder, or anyone was aware that this guy made that run because they're all just focused on the ball. None of them are smart enough. Look, he's looked back into the space to see where he's going, hasn't looked to check and see if this runner's coming in. And if he had checked the runner, it's not about marking the runner, it's about being first to the second ball. So if he sees someone else is running his hardest, which he is, look, boom, 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 he's already on the motion, he's going to be first to the second ball. If you're running with him, you've got a chance of being first to the second ball and not him. None of them are doing that. All of a sudden, bump, away it goes, 1-0. Let's get on to the VAR, because it's bloody awful. We'll play it to you in real time, and here we go. Bosch, here we go. He gets the ball down. He's looking to play it into the box. Newcastle have been defending. Oh, God knows how PSG hadn't scored, by the way. If you watch the game, go look at the highlights. Some of them are fantastic, but I don't cover all the highlights. I generally just cover the main points. So here we go. Bosch, in it comes. There you go, you see the handball. Right, okay, looks like a handball in real time. Ref doesn't give it, but VAR does give it. Okay, why doesn't the ref give it? This guy's ref, I think he's refed a World Cup final. Not that I count the World Cup as a good quality of refereeing, but at least, to get that gig, you've got to have said yes to the right people enough times to be able to be that high. But what I want to show you is the actual the VAR. This is the best angle, but I'll cover some of the other ones as well. Right, so the first thing you need to know is, does it What does it hit first? Does it hit his hand? No, it hits his chest, then it hits his hand. It's not a handball. It's his chest first, then it hits his hand. Can't be a handball. Can't be. It hit his chest first. If it hit his hand and then it hit his chest, yeah, fine. But he's running, his arms are in motion, it's hit his chest, he's deflected it with his chest, and then he's caught it on his hand. Dumph. Yeah, it's not a handball because it's hit his chest first, right? Everybody knows that in the game of football, but it goes to VAR. They show this little image here. They do a little bit of jiggery pokey with the old VAR, you know, and it comes, blah, blah, bosh, up it goes, dump, dump, and the guy gives it. Yeah, never a penalty. Hits his chest first. If it hadn't hit his chest, 100% I'm giving it a penalty if it's hit his hand, but it hasn't. It's hit his chest first. Not a penalty. Sorry, boys and girls, it's not a penalty. The game of football, as you know it, is lost. But we'll have a look at the penalty and watch him kick it in the net box, because he does quite a good job, to be fair. Up Mbappe's steps. He's definitely one of the top 3 players in the world. I wouldn't put him I would say like top 5, because all positions are different and all that sort of nonsense. I can go into that for days, but steps up to take his little penalty. Does a little step, whaps it into the top. He doesn't quite get it into the top corner. He gets it about there. To be fair, the keeper's almost got his hand to it, but the penalty's so good, it's just too high, and he can't do it. Yeah, Mbappe gets himself a goal, gets his team out of trouble. I think they go. I don't think they go top of the group, but they. I'm not sure how their group's chaos. But yeah, Newcastle will rob with that one. But I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.